Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on preparing for FP&A interviews using AI. Right? AI is impacting everywhere, every step, everything that we do in the finance function, and preparing for interviews, FP&A interviews is no different, right? So welcome to this webinar once again. So what are we going to cover over the next 45 minutes or so? For 45 minutes or so, we will spend the first 5-7 minutes on just basics of how FP&A interview is going to be different. And I'm not going to spend too much time on the very fundamentals of it. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what happens in an interview, how FP&A interviews can be different. And then we'll look at a quick framework to understand how you can prepare well for your FP&A interviews. It's a quick 3-step framework that I'll share with you. And then what has changed now, right? So we will be using AI for interview preparations, and I'll share with you 3 solid use cases of how one can prepare for interview, and also how FP&A role is going to change in the future. So I'm going to give you a quick glimpse of that. And then, of course, we'll have time for Q&A in the end as well. Okay, so over the next 45 minutes or so, get rid of all the distractions. FP&A is becoming extremely important. AI is becoming extremely important. So I need all your attention for the next about 45 minutes or so. And of course, we'll have some special bonuses for you in the end. In the end, we will share with you a quick pack of 30 use cases on using Claude with Excel for FP&A, where we'll share with you all the videos, the practice data sets and everything. It's going to be a very special bonus, which my co-founder Asif has been working on over the last few months. Okay, so make sure that you stay through till the very end to claim this bonus on using Claude with Excel. Awesome, let's get started. So like I mentioned, I've muted everybody for now. So we will open for Q&A in the very end. I might ask you a couple of questions for which you may have to respond in the chat box as well. But let's get started. So a little bit about us before we begin with. My name is Dhawal Parvatikar. I'm a qualified chartered accountant. Over 16 years, I've worked as a CFO in India and across the Middle East. I'm now the co-founder and lead faculty at FP&A Professionals Institute. Over the last 6 years, I've been an active trainer and a mentor, probably more than 5,000 hours of training. I've trained more than 5,000 professionals on various topics like FP&A, finance business partnering, data storytelling, AI for finance and FP&A, one-to-one CFO career coaching, and much more. I'm frequently seen in events across the Middle East, where you can see me as a host, a moderator, a panelist. I've also built a vibrant community of more than 200 plus CFOs across the Middle East. We meet every quarter, we meet every year in a retreat. So it's all interesting to understand from these CFOs as well. I'm joined by my co-founder, Asif Masani. Asif is also a qualified chartered accountant, has 15 plus years experience, worked with notable brands that you see on the screen. He's an acclaimed author as well. You see those 3 books on the screen. He's also a regular contributor to various FP&A platforms. What we have also done is that we not only try and bring our expertise in our courses and programs and books, we've also tried to interview the best FP&A professionals across the globe, right from North America, to Australia, and then try and bring everything which we have learned from them into our programs as well. So this has been our journey. So we started somewhere in 2022, and over the last 3 years or so, we have trained more than 5,000 students on various topics on FP&A, AI for FP&A being our latest edition in the course. FP&Ajobs.com is our portal, which definitely you should create a profile on. That's our latest initiative to bring FP&A talent and recruiters on one platform. CGFPA program, which is our flagship certified global FP&A professional program, which we'll talk about it in the end as well. So overall, we have trained about 5,000 students across these various courses and training programs that you see on the screen. So welcome once again. So let's get started. What is that one thing that people look for in a candidate? Okay, so let me give you my perspectives when I was hiring people as a CFO, right? So I've done dozens of interviews. A couple of things that I always looked at in the candidates is, the first one is initiative, right? So what kind of initiative are they undertaking, or have they taken any initiative in their career? Are they active in their career? Are they proactively studying about the company, about the profile and everything? The second is attitude or energy. The person needs to be positive and open for learning. Their energy needs to be high, especially in the interview. So that is extremely important. And one thing that is connected to attitude is also something called as coachability, right? So when I hired people in my team, one most important thing for me was coachability. Can I coach this person? Can I mold this person into a resource that I want to use? That is what attitude, energy, or coachability defines. Enthusiasm and curiosity. I would love people who go the extra mile, prepare something extra. I have done that in my interviews as well. Many times I've prepared some presentations or a sector presentation and given it to the CEO in the interview, after the interview, of course. So a lot of this, enthusiasm and curiosity is something which is truly appreciated. And then, of course, the cultural fit, right? So cultural fit is extremely important. Many times the backgrounds are different. Some people might be coming from a startup, but they may not be suitable for a multinational culture. Some people might be coming from multinational, they may not be suited for a startup culture. So I think cultural fit is extremely important. So these are 4 or 5 important factors that I look for in a candidate when I was hiring in my team as a CFO. How do you prepare for the FP&A interviews? So I'm going to break this preparation framework into 4 different sections, okay? You see the 3 sections on the screen, that is practice, execution, and preparation, or preparation, practice, and execution. Okay, preparation comes first, practice, and then execution. And then I'm going to cover these 3 steps in the next 5 or 10 minutes. After that, we will dive into a couple of use cases where we will deep dive into how specifically we can use AI for preparing FP&A interviews, right? So let's do that. So first starts with preparation. Preparation is absolutely important. Any interview that you go for, preparation is extremely important. And there could be a number of steps in the preparation as well, but I don't want to spend time on highlighting all of them. But here are the 3 topmost elements in the preparation set for me. One is industry deep dive. Prepare everything about that industry. Where does that industry operate in? Where are its customers? Is it a B2B? Is it a B2C business? Who are its key competitors? Who are the key players in the industry? Who are the competitor CEOs, right? So all of these things, what is their market share? All of these things is industry deep dive. Then the company deep dive. What are some of the unique things about the company? What differentiates them compared to their competitors? Because these are strategic questions that might come, especially on leadership roles or senior roles as well. Then interviewers background. So I think I used to spend a lot of time on researching the interviewer's background, specifically to try and find some common connect. He could be from the same school, he could be from the same city, he could be from the same community, whatever, right? So try and research on the interviewer and try and get at least 1 or 2 common links with the interviewer. Okay? Many times it has worked for me that sometimes the interviewer could be from the same school or from the same city, okay? Or we bond on the same food, right? I see that, okay, the interviewer happens to be from a particular city, something that I like about that city or the food in that city. And that kind of helped us break the ice as well. So try and study a little bit about interviews background, specifically to find some common elements which you can bond on. Then comes the practice. Okay. So the practice bit, mock interviews is extremely essential. Either you do it on your own or try and get a coach for yourself or try and get your friends to do a mock interview for you. Okay. Various questions you can enlist and then try and do a quick mock interview as well. The second one, if you don't have anybody, then the best way to also do mock interviews, video record and review it, right? So you can quickly do a video recording on your mobile phone, okay, ask a question, and then you try and respond to that question and see where you are, where you're making those mistakes and try and plug those gaps. Practice the common interview questions, which we'll talk about it in a few seconds. Learn to highlight analysis part in your resume. One common question that I always get asked is that I don't have prior experience in FP&A, but people, when I go for the interview, they ask for prior experience in FP&A. Okay. Yes, people are looking for a lot of experienced professionals in FP&A, but there are not enough FP&A professionals out there. Okay. So what does that mean? That means you need to kind of build stories around the analysis part in your experience. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's say, for example, you have worked on revenue recognition in your career. Don't say revenue recognition in your resume. Say revenue analysis. I'm pretty sure you must have done some analysis while doing that revenue recognition exercise. Let's say if you have done, let's say you are working in an audit function and you have done a payroll verification in your client place. Don't say payroll verification, say staff cost analysis. I'm pretty sure you must have done some staff cost analysis. Who are the new hires? What percentage of staff cost versus the previous year? How is the quarter-on-quarter growth has been there? Some sort of analytical review you might have done, in your career. So try and highlight that analysis part in your FP&A interview. Bring that to the forefront or orchestrate the answer in such a way that you are able to put a spotlight on the analysis part in your experience. That's how you have to prepare for the practice for the interview. Then practice the common interview questions, right? The common interview questions, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but The common interview questions are like, tell me something about yourself. Now, tell me something about yourself is not about what you have written in the resume. It is your chance to highlight something which is not written in your resume. For example, my response to tell me something about yourself was something like this. My name is Dhawal Parvatikar. I'm a qualified chartered accountant. I think the early years in business, when I spent at my father's shop, when I was 12 years old, I used to sit in my father's shop, and that I think was the first entry point into the business, which led me to chartered accountancy. And chartered accountancy interested me because it was business oriented. And I've always taken up roles which are business focused and FP&A focused in my career, which helped me shape my pricing, business partnering skills to a great extent. Fortunately, I've also worked with companies which had a slimmer hierarchy, which means I got a lot of senior management exposure, stakeholder exposure. How to talk to and manage senior stakeholders is something which I was able to grasp from my experience as well. And so far, things have been great. Now, you see, I mentioned about everything which was nothing was written in the resume, right? I tried to highlight my strengths. What are my strengths? My strengths are that I love business. I love business focused FP&A roles. Okay. And I've always got experience for that. I've also mentioned subtly that I can handle senior stakeholders. Yeah. So try and find out one or two strengths that you have, which are not apparently visible on your resume, and then include that in your tell me something about yourself. Now, the second one is tell me about a time. Now, this is a trick question. So many times, right, these are behavioral questions. Okay. Now, let me tell you how, as an interviewer, as a CFO, I used to ask my team members a question. Like, for example, I used to ask, tell me about a time when you had a conflict with your boss or an argument with your boss. First of all, this brings a smile on the candidate's face. And so that then they start thinking that, yeah, in this particular instance, my boss was saying X, but I was actually saying Y. Then I immediately followed up with a question saying that, okay, who won the argument? The answer that I'm looking for as an interviewer is actually a diplomatic answer. But I'm saying that, okay, it's not about me winning or my boss winning. It's always about what is right for the company or what is right as per the policy. So that's the answer that I'm actually looking for. Sometimes the candidate says that, okay, I was right, boss was wrong, which could be, which could be true. Right? Sometimes they say, no, boss was right. Eventually, I realized that I was wrong, which is also fair enough. Okay. But I'm trying to slightly see if this person can give a diplomatic answer. So tell me about a time when a conflict happened, a senior stakeholder was angry on you. How did you deal with it? So all of these are behavioral questions that you may not necessarily be able to practice for, but try and get a list of behavioral questions and start practicing for those as much as you can. These are to test your strengths, or these are to test how do you handle pressure situations. Then know your strengths and weaknesses very well. Let's say, for example, I used to be very upfront in telling that I'm not great with compliance, although I'm good with taxes. I have handled statutory audits, I've handled massive SOX audits and everything. That's something I shouldn't enjoy. Yeah. So I used to be upfront on that. So identify your strengths and weaknesses, and then you can be upfront about it in a subtle way. Then prepare 2 to 3 good stories. Everybody should prepare for certain war stories because they will pick up experience from your resume and then they'll ask you questions around it. Now, let's say if you have written that I have done budgeting, revenue budgeting or whatever, expenses budgeting. So they will start picking up questions from it, and sorry, just give me 1 second. So they will pick up questions from your experience. So they will pick up questions from your experience and specifically dig into, what did you do in that and how did you execute that? If you say that I have done a subscription saving of $50,000 in my career, then they'll ask you a story about it. So be prepared for those kind of stories, right? So prepare those stories well and then be ready with those stories as well. So these are some of the things that you should be aware of in terms of common interview questions. And then finally comes execution. Execution is actually the day of the interview. Needless to say, you need to be on time, proper dressed, right? Depending on the protocol of the company, connect everything about how you can help the company. So what the interviewer is also looking for is, can this person execute the role? Is he a right fit for my team? Can he do the job or execute the job description that I have given to him? So try and see how you can connect your experience to that particular job description. The most important part is asking 2 to 3 questions. It is always important to ask 2 to 3 questions. Now, there are 2 sets of candidates, okay, that I have interviewed. One is somebody who proactively asks a couple of questions. There are people who don't ask any questions. In the end, I ask them a question, say that, hey, do you have any questions for us? Or do you have any questions for me? Yeah. And sometimes they go blank. They have no clue. Or they end up asking basic questions like, is it 5 days a week? What is the office timing? Is it night shift? Whatever, right? So all these are stupid questions. You should not be asking those. So what definitely you should be preparing is 2 to 3 questions. So a couple of questions that I've extensively used in my career is question number one. I used to say, okay, what do you think are the top 3 priorities in this role? Or what do you think are the top 3 challenges in this role beyond what you've mentioned in the job description? Then I used to also ask a question about tool. What ERP and what FP&A tool are we using in the company? Yeah, that shows curiosity. That shows curiosity as to, okay, what are they using? And in a leadership position, I used to always ask, how big is the team? Who will I be reporting to? Like if I'm interviewing for an FP&A leader or CFO role, I used to ask, okay, who will I be reporting to? Okay, what is the hierarchy? Or who are the business unit heads or who are the counterparts? Right. So all of these things are something that I used to always ask for in the interview as well. Yeah. Send a thank you note and follow up. Again, whoever interviews you or the HR or whoever might have given you just the first interview call, it could be a phone call. You may not have their, and somebody put a question in the chat box that what if we don't have their interview? What if we don't have their information like email or something like that? But we'll have something, right? There would be something with which they have contacted us. Either there'll be a phone number, there'll be a message or something which you can try and use. If you have an email ID, great. I would always encourage that you ask a visiting card or a business card of your interviewer. Okay. If he gives it automatically, then fine. If he does not, then of course, ask that, hey, do you mind sharing your business card with me? Right. And if they share a business card, then you have their details. You can, of course, send an email to that. Send a thank you note and follow up, irrespective of what the result is. Awesome. So these are some general questions, which are very common for any interview. I've only picked up the special items from this and then highlighted those what you need to specifically prepare. So now let's get into the AI topics, right? So how do you use AI for preparing for preparation of your FP&A interview? Okay. So let's look at the first case, which is actually preparing for a fintech interview. Okay. And this is an actual interview that I helped one of my mentees or students prepare for the interview. So let me just quickly share my screen. So I use ChatGPT for this. Okay. So let me just quickly share with you. Yeah. So this was for a fintech company. Okay. And the way it unfolded was that we first did not know the company name. So this person was actually based in Africa, and he got an interview call, and the interview consultant, the recruiter or the headhunter, just said that it's for a fintech company. So we did not know what fintech company was it. Okay. And then as and when we started progressing, once the HR round was over, then we got to know the company name. And then we were able to kind of sharpen our preparation as well. Okay. And I'll take you through that entire journey in the next 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah. So I said, okay, first we got the JD, the job description. The job description did not have the company name. It just had the job description for a FP&A role with a fintech company. Okay. So I said, okay, help me prepare for the interview with this JD. Okay. For the interview with this JD with a fintech company. So I pasted the JD, the Word document in ChatGPT, and then it started summarizing some information about it. Okay. So manager, finance, business partner, commercial. So this is the role. Okay. So what is important for this role? This is not a typical FP&A role. So you will be, this is more of a commercial or a revenue-based organization. Your key will be to translate business actions, financial actions into financial outcomes into business actions, right? So that is what is important. So then it started sharing some of the key responsibilities. Okay. Strategic business partnering, FP&A, budgeting, forecasting, decision support, yeah, revenue and cost optimization, governance and control. So these are all some of the key responsibilities in that. Then it also started predicting the likely technical questions. How do you link financial metrics to commercial KPIs? Yeah. What could be some of the possible KPIs? Decision support. How would you challenge or support the sales leaders? Again, these are behavioral questions, right? How do you improve the forecast accuracy in a fast-moving business? So these could be some of the likely technical questions. And then I did not say anything. Okay. So it gave me on its own the behavioral set of questions. Tell me about a time when you influenced a commercial leader to change a decision. Okay. Describe how you handled conflicting priorities between finance and sales. Yeah. How did you identify and deliver a cost optimization opportunity? So it started asking all these behavioral questions as well. Okay. So this kind of gave us an idea. So me and my mentee, my student, both of us were actually preparing for the interview using this particular conversations. Now, then it also gave me 5 key metrics, or rather the key metrics during the interview. average revenue per customer, cost of customer acquisition, churn rate, right? Fintech could likely be a subscription or a SaaS-based model, could be a transaction-based model as well. So this could be average revenue per customer, cost of customer acquisition. So these are all some of the fintech startup related metrics that are pretty common. Okay. Now, what you can also do is, now here I knew what these were, so that's why I've not asked the question again. So if you don't know what is an ARPU, you can of course ask it back to ChatGPT and it'll explain to you with an example as to what an ARPU is, right? Or similarly, cost of customer acquisition, okay, or techniques to control cost of customer acquisition. Whatever questions you want, you can ask, and ChatGPT will help you answer that as well. 2-minute elevator pitch, right? Again, this is something which is generic, but you can just tailor it for your respective profile as well. Some questions which you should ask them. I did not say anything to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is giving me this flow. So how does the business partnering integrate with commercial leadership team? What are the key revenue drivers or KPIs that the commercial team is focusing on in the next financial year? What systems or data infrastructure does the finance team currently use to support decision making? Again, the tools question, but asked in a better way, right? So what systems and data infrastructure does the finance team currently use to support decision making, right? So these are some things. How to stand out, again, bring examples of commercial insights. So you dig deep into your experience and see what are those instances where you must have highlighted a commercial business partner or a business counterpart on commercial decisions, right? And what were the business outcomes out of it? So these are some of the things that you may want to prepare for. So then what happened was that after so the headhunter took the first interview where we did not know the company name. Then the HR round happened. So by the time of HR round, one day before we got to know the company name, it was some mobile money app. So I'll tell you which company was it. But right now, just understand that it was a mobile money app. So at this point in time, we did not know the company name. She just said that it was some mobile money app. And what could be the possible avenues? So he said, okay, we immediately started searching for it. We said, okay, how does a mobile money app make revenue? What could be the possible avenues? So then it said, okay, there could be transaction fees, percentage charge to users, merchant payments, airtime and utility payments. So many times you will see that these mobile money apps are actually having tie-ups with the utility payments. So you can pay your phone bill, your electricity bill with them, book train tickets, flight tickets, whatever, right? Cross-border remittances. Like for example, Kareem app in the UAE allows you to also not only book food, taxi, everything, it also allows you to remit payment to other foreign countries as well. Interest, in the wallet balance. So you could be giving a wallet service as well. Lending or credit services like micro loans, early salary advances. So these are all the fintech models that will be coming into play with a mobile money app. So all of these are the different kind of products, insurance products, virtual card services, co-branded card services, right? APIs or B2B integrations, So all of these are the different ways in which a mobile money app makes revenue, right? And what could be some of the key things that we need to look at there. So all of these things is something which we started understanding how a mobile money app works. Then some indirect or strategic revenue drivers. What are the revenue drivers? Customer float, retention, cross-sell ecosystem. So all of these are some of the revenue drivers that could be important. Okay. So this is a typical revenue mix. Now, this may not be exactly true for that company, but this is giving us a typical revenue mix that these are all the different avenues. Typically, mobile money apps are making revenue from different sources like this in this percentage. Then what are the implications for FP&A? So what do we need to be aware of? We need to be aware of active users, average transactions, average fee, then unit economics like CAC, ARPU, LTV, churn. LTV is lifetime value, right? So all the different products, campaign ROIs or return on ad spends, return on Instagram ads, Facebook ads, right? Performance marketing ads. So all of those things are something which we need to be aware of. So start giving you some information. So how do you use this in the interview? Again, this may be a little bit generic. Then we thought, okay, my student was able to get some more information that lending services could be prominent in this. Okay. So let's say, okay, assuming lending services is prominent, how do we as FP&A forecast the revenue for this item? So understanding the lending model, what are micro loans, buy now, pay later schemes, salary advances. So how do they work? So these are some of the revenue drivers. How many number of active borrowers are there? What is the average loan size, loan frequency? What is the number of months? Or it could be for 1 month, 1.5 months, 60 days, 90 days. What would be the interest rate, tenure or duration? So all of these things are these are the revenue drivers that one needs to track as well. Okay. And again, it started explaining how do I calculate the gross interest revenue, active borrowers into average loan size into loan frequency. So again, everything is available here, right? So this is far better. Now imagine without ChatGPT, if we had got a fintech company interview, we had absolutely no idea how to prepare for this. Google may not give you the precise information that ChatGPT is giving. Okay. Or you may just ask to a friend. That friend may also might have worked in fintech, but with a very limited scope of work. So he may not have that broad-based experience as well. So this is great in terms of preparing for FP&A interviews. How should be the forecasting approach? How do I do a short-term forecast? So all of that is coming here. Key levers as a business partner, active users, disbursements, yield ratio, or yield percentages, all of these things. Yeah, vast information. Then finally, just before one day before the HR round, we came to know that it is MTN mobile money app based in Uganda. Okay. So this is when we said that, okay, I'm going to do an interview with MTN mobile money app in Uganda, act as a CFO of this company and ask me questions for the JD that I shared. So pretend that you are the CFO and then ask me questions. So then it started simulating some questions. Okay. So here's a question one. Our commercial teams are launching promotions. Okay. How would you evaluate a campaign is worth doing or not? MTN mobile money operates in a market where transaction fees are under pressure. From the finance partner's lens, what strategies would you suggest to protect the revenue and margins? So what kind of questions you can expect? I mean, these are far tougher in the sense, if it's for a junior analyst role, the questions may not be this strategic. Yeah. But again, it's better to prepare for these questions as well. So give a good list of questions, around, so these were around commercial finance. Again, these were around FP&A and forecasting. You give a good list of questions, almost around 15, 20 questions as well. Some bonus curveballs, Okay. So if we only give you one data point, that is ARPU, what other data would you ask before you advise a CEO on growth? Wow, great question. I mean, I couldn't even have thought about this question as a CFO while asking to my potential candidates. So these are the 20 questions that it came up with. And then we said, great, 20 questions are great. So now give me answers for these questions as well. So ChatGPT said, okay, now we'll give you answers. So these could be the ideal answers. Okay, but again, we may have to modify basis our experience so that we don't sound fake. If you are asked about the business model, and if you have not worked in the fintech industry, it's always important to be upfront and saying that I have worked in a service industry before, but not specifically fintech. So I understand that the complexities could be around average user, cost of customer acquisition, interest rates, micro loans. So these could be some of the possible drivers that the company must be tracking. So you can, of course, take a theoretical and be upfront about it, right? So you can give a disclaimer and say that theoretically, I understand how a mobile money app works. Okay. And these could be some of the possible drivers. Yeah. As per my understanding. Yeah. But I've never worked in a fintech company before. So you can be upfront in your interview as well. So again, ChatGPT started sharing some answers, okay, for all the questions that we covered above. Okay, so all the 20 questions that we covered above, started giving some answers as well. So this, I think, we spent about, me and my student, we spent about 45 minutes doing this brainstorm, and we were able to significantly uncover a lot of things which helped us prepare better for this interview as well. Okay, which without AI, we couldn't even imagine. I would have probably tried to call 10 people to see who's working in FP&A in a fintech company, right? And it's impossible to find one, if you are not well networked. So this is one of the use cases where you can use ChatGPT for definitely boosting your interview capabilities, specifically in FP&A. So this was a fintech company example. Now, so let me go to the second use case for interview prep. So this is an interview with a software company in a place in India called Pune, right? So Pune is a city in India. And here we have a software company named Persistent Systems, which is one of the largest software companies in India, employing 25,000 plus people. So, this is more like a mock scenario. Let's say you are required to give an FP&A manager interview at Persistent Systems, which is a software company based in India. It has 25,000 plus employees, about a couple of $1 billion in revenue. So this is again like a mock scenario. Okay. So the first thing that we are required to also do is understand where the company is positioned, its annual report, who are the key stakeholders, right? What are its key businesses? How is the company making money? And all of these are extremely important from an FP&A standpoint. So what I did, I simply downloaded the annual report of Persistent Systems. Okay, it looks something like this. Persistent is a listed company, so the annual reports are easily available to us. Okay, so this is an annual report, which roughly runs for about 450 pages, 450 pages. Yeah. So 450 pages of information, it's nearly impossible to go through in a couple of days, So That's why it is important to kind of, that's where AI can come into your rescue. So what I did, I said, okay, I'm uploading the annual report of Persistent Systems Limited. I'm preparing for an FP&A manager interview at Persistent. Give me 5 points from the annual report that I should be aware of. Also, can you summarize the management discussion and analysis section on page 229 into a 5 to 10 key bullet points? So what typically happens is that, and this has happened with me before. Okay, so when I gave the interview, the finance director, and I was interviewing for a finance manager position. The finance director asked me a question that, have you gone through the annual report of our company? And I said, yes, I've gone through the annual report of the company. So tell me, what are your top 3 observations from the annual report? True list. Now I've gone through the annual report. It was some 200 plus pages, and I absolutely can't recollect what were my observations, except for the fact that only the revenue was growing. Any other observation, it was very difficult for me to recollect. Although I've gone through the report and I've done my homework, but it was very difficult to recollect at that point in time. That kind of motivated me to ask this question. Said, okay, give me 5 points from the annual report that I should be aware of. And you can just prepare those 5 points, whether it is on revenue or cost or any developments or any initiatives or any press releases that the company has done recently, whatever might be the initiative, right? Just remember those 5 points. Yeah, because a generic question like this might come to you. Okay, or what do you know about our company? What have you researched about our company? What do you understand about our company's financials? All these are open-ended questions, okay, which definitely demand a couple of strong answers from you, specific answers from you. So that is where this will come to your rescue. Then I also said, because it is FP&A role, the management discussion and analysis part, where it gives you the management's view of what the management is thinking, how the next financial year is going to be, or what are some of the challenges that the industry is facing. Okay, it's captured in the management discussion and analysis section. It's called the MDA section usually. Okay, so that's why I said, okay, also, can you summarize the management discussion and analysis section on page 229 into 5 to 10 key bullet points? Okay, so then it first said, okay, critical points to know, must know from an FP&A lens, strong growth momentum, 20 consecutive quarters of growth, and not a single quarter in the last 20 quarters that the growth or the revenue has come down. The revenue has always been growing since 20 consecutive quarters. Okay, PAT growth 28+%, revenue of $1.4 billion. So it's giving you the angle. Persistent is not just growing, it is delivering consistent compounding growth. Clear strategic AI-led transformation. Everywhere on their website, their annual reports, everything, you will see that they are a step ahead in AI adoption. Yeah, you will see that from there. Okay, that can be one of your points as well. AI-driven platforms, AI agentic AI workflows in BFSI and healthcare. That is what the company has been specializing in. Yeah, especially on the BFSI banking and banking financial services and healthcare industry. Strong deal pipeline. Okay, in a services business, your pipeline, your upcoming pitches, your upcoming revenue is something which is very important. Your deal pipeline is extremely important, right? So it already has 1.46 billion of annual contractual value, which means that annual signed contracts are of 1.46 billion, which is extremely good from a forecast visibility standpoint. Sometimes you could start with a 20-30% unidentified new business, which you don't know where the new business is going to come from. So this is a good indication. Talent strategy, 24,500 plus employees. Every company, IT company today, you will start noticing that they are boasting about having how many certified AI employees. If the company has 24,000 employees, they'll say we have 5,000 AI certified employees. TCS is going to say we have 20,000 AI certified employees. Infosys is going to say we have 30,000 AI certified employees. So the AI certified employees is what they are betting on these days. Yeah, that's what you can figure out from the annual report. I know a little bit about this company because I used to be the statutory auditor, but this was a long time ago, probably 20 years ago. Yeah, as an intern. But the company has grown like 10x, 20x from there. Okay, so then comes the management discussion and analysis page, MDA section, where it is giving us the industry outlook, right? Most of the global IT services firms are focusing on AI adoption, cloud transformation, and data engineering. These are the businesses, BFSI, healthcare, and technology verticals are something which are contributing to the biggest revenues. Then what are the strategic priorities? AI first transformation across product services. Okay, so these are all some of the strategic priorities. So I was able to get these 5 points from the MDA section. But my problem with these 5 points was there was nothing quantitative in this. There's nothing quantitative in this. Yeah. And it started saying, how do you use this for the interview and blah, blah, blah. But now I said, okay, does the MDA have any financial insights? You've not captured any numbers in your bullet points that you have shared. Okay. So I like what the MDA analysis was given, but it did not have any financial numbers, which I was expecting it to give. It says, ChatGPT says, great catch. And honestly, this is how exactly an FP&A manager should be thinking. Then it started giving financial insights from the MDA section. Revenue, 4-year CAGR, right? Then EBITDA margin drop, right? So these are the things, okay? What it gave: revenue, growth, quality, yeah? Profitability, expansion. Then deal momentum, revenue mix shift, okay? So which industries from high margin to low margin shift, yeah? That is a shift. Then cost structure reality, heavy training and certifications heavy training, AI training and certifications investment is required for all these employees to keep them relevant, right, in the real world. Quarterly acceleration, quarter-on-quarter growth, capital allocation, which is talking about the dividend policy and the growth investments and all of these things. AI investments is a short-term cost, but track the long-term ROI. So these are some of the things that it said it could be your differentiator. I said, fine. So what piqued my interest was the first 4 points. What were the first 4 points? The first 4 points were revenue growth quality, profitability expansion, deal momentum, and revenue mix shift. Now, here's the interesting part. So what I did, I said, okay, let me try and kill two birds with one stone. Okay. So I said, okay, help me with the exact FP&A KPIs Persistent would track internally. Okay. Then he started giving me revenue and growth KPIs, deal pipeline, margin and profitability KPIs, delivery and utilization KPIs. In a service company, billability or billable utilization percentage of a employee is very important. The employee needs to be 80% billable, 90% billable, right? If he's on the bench, then basically we are losing revenue, right? So that's billability is important. Talent cost and KPIs. So these are all important KPIs. Okay. So great. I mean, good insights. And I said, any red flags in the financial statements of the company? Okay. Now this could be a question, independent question asked in your interview. I said, okay, have you gone through our financial statements? Now, if you say a yes, okay, then they will ask you that, okay, what do you think are some of the top 3 concerns or red flags in the financial statements? So no answer for that, right? So now, what are the red flags, potential red flags? High dependence on talent, AI investment versus monetization gap, margin expansion is still modest, revenue concentration risk. I'll tell you what that is. Okay, very interesting observation. Revenue concentration risk. Okay, so all of these things are some of the red flags that ChatGPT was able to give me by analyzing the annual report. Okay, which otherwise, imagine how much time would have taken for us. Now, then what I did, okay, I said, okay, for the first 4 points that you mentioned, that is the red flags that you mentioned, how are the comparable competing companies in India doing? Can you research about it and give me a tabular comparison? So whenever you are asking a comparison, always try and ask for a tabular comparison with ChatGPT so that you are able to compare things side by side. Okay. So I said, okay, these 3-4 points that it mentioned as a red flag, I want to say if these are a red flag for Persistent, then how are we doing against the competition? So then it researched for some time. You see, this took more than the usual time. Why? Because this involved a little bit of deep research. It took more than 4 minutes, 26 seconds, whereas all the other questions, it was able to answer in like less than 30 seconds. So because this was researching for other company data as well, then it gave me a tabular comparison that these are the competing companies. Okay. Persistent, Coforge, Mindtree, and Mphasis. And those 4 parameters that were the red flag: talent cost, AI investment and monetization, margin expansion, and client concentration risk. It gave me all that comparison as well for all these 4 companies: Persistent, Coforge, Mindtree, and Mphasis. Okay. Again, very interesting observations. I've read this in detail and it was pretty much correct observations in that sense. Let me also just quickly spend 1 minute on client concentration. Yeah. So client concentration is basically in Persistent, it shows that your top 10 clients are actually contributing to nearly 40% of your revenue. Top 10 clients are contributing to 40% of your revenue. Okay. When other clients in other companies, this was different. In other companies, this was different. So here it is moderate. Then this company looks less alarming, lower concentration risk, higher concentration risk. So this company, Mphasis, okay, it has 55% revenue coming from its top 10 clients. Why is this a risk? Because if one client goes, probably they will lose 10%, 20% of their headcount. You see, that's why the dependence on top 10 clients is critical. So these are some of the concentration risks. These are some of the risks compared to the competition that it was able to give. Yeah. Now here I asked it to do a comparison of red flag. I can also ask it to do a financial comparison. Whatever comparisons you want. What this means for the interview, it was able to summarize. A question would come. Okay, who do you think are the top 3 competitors for Persistent? Boom, you have your answer. Coforge, Mphasis, Mindtree. And what do you think? Is Persistent doing better than our competition? Okay, now that displays your industry understanding. Now it is summed up that information here, simply ranking by 4 points. What is doing better on talent cost? Who is doing better on client concentration? So you have these 2 to 3 bullet points ready. for this. Yeah. You see how the preparation for interview has become supercharged with AI. Imagine doing all of this without AI. How do you even understand about persistent? Now, what will you gather from that 450-page annual report? Will you practically be able to download 400 pages worth of annual report for all the other 3, 4 companies also and go through that annual report as well? And all this in a matter of 2 days, right? Not even 2 days. A couple of hours is what you will get to prepare for your interview. I'm pretty sure you'll be working somewhere in some current job. You're already working for a full day. Let's say if your interview is after 2 days, all you get is about 2 to 3 hours to prepare for your interview. So I hope this has given you some idea of how you can use ChatGPT or any other AI tool for your interview preparation. So type helpful in the chat box if you found this helpful. Type helpful in the chat box if you found it helpful so far, whatever I've covered. Come on, come on. Okay, I see quite a few set of helpfuls. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me cover one more use case. Now, this is not a use case for interview prep. So this is a use case to quickly give you a glimpse of how AI is going to change your FP&A role. Yeah, AI is going to change your FP&A role. So apart from ChatGPT, so one other tool that I very frequently use is called Manus. So this is how Manus AI looks like. The interface is very similar to ChatGPT. So this is how Manus AI looks like. Now I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse of how your FP&A role is going to completely change, with the implementation of AI. Let me just do a quick, let's take this example. Yeah, building a revenue variance. Now, this is an Excel file. So let me just quickly first show you how the Excel file looks like. So there's a very small case, where we are talking about forecast versus actuals. Okay, your forecasted revenue was $15.2 million and your actual revenue happens to be $13.6 million. So there's a $1.6 million shortfall in your revenue, actual revenue. There could be price drivers. Some of it could be because of the price, some of it because of the promotions. But you will notice that the price has also come down. Okay, and the units have also come down. Whatever units you had planned, you have sold lesser units as well. So both the price and the units are a culprit for your revenue drop. It would take us some time to analyze even these 2, 3 parameters. Okay, try and put them in a proper Excel sheet, try and put a waterfall chart together, build some commentary around it, right? This would probably take us good half an hour, 45 minutes to study this Excel sheet, right? And then put together a CFO level commentary or a presentation. So let's see how this could happen in the AI space. Just to give you a quick glimpse of how AI is going to change your world. I pasted the Excel file into the chat box here. I said, okay, study the Excel sheet. And from the Excel sheet, can you build a waterfall chart to explain the revenue variance? Use price, volume, and channel mix for your analysis. Which are the channels there? Online and offline. Also give me a 3 to 4 bullet point sharp executive summary with the waterfall chart. Okay. So Manus said, okay, got it. I'll analyze the Excel sheet. So Manus AI has a little bit better Excel and presentation capabilities. Claude is almost there now. Like Claude has also got great Excel capabilities. And, in fact, the engine behind Manus is Gwen and Claude together, right? So the Excel capabilities are very similar to Claude. But the presentation capabilities are a little bit better than Claude, at least at this point in time. Okay? But things are fast changing. So then Manus gave me the response saying, okay, revenue underperformance of $1.6 million. You remember it was $1.6 million. Volume decline is the primary driver. Significant pricing erosion in online channel. So it started giving me all that commentary information as well. Give me tabular information and started giving me waterfall chart as well. Now I said, okay, give me 1-slide executive presentation for this. Boom. The 1-slide executive presentation is also ready. Yeah, let me just quickly show this to you. Yeah, look at this. Look at the detailing. It has given a nice waterfall chart. Revenue variance analysis, $1.6 million revenue shortfall, volume decline and pricing pressure. Yeah, volume effect is 0.91. So it is breaking the $1.6 million now. Volume effect is 0.9, price effect is 1.68. Then there's channel mix shift as well. Online revenue mix has contracted. Online revenue was budgeted at 37.5%, but it has come down to 32.4%. There's some critical insight. Online channel accounts for 81% of total revenue shortfall. So we did not do well on the online revenue channel. That's the moot point. Channel-wise performance, tabular comparison. So it's giving this quick 1-page, CFO level summary as well. Now imagine putting this presentation together itself would have taken us good half an hour, to think about the waterfall chart, put it there, design the color. Look at it. It is already giving the choice of colors, right? Red color is something which demands action or it's a concern. So just putting this together and formatting it would itself have taken at least half an hour, 45 minutes for us. Just one slide, let alone preparing a full CFO presentation. So this is how your world is going to change with FP&A, not only for giving interviews, but also for working in FP&A as well. Okay. So I hope you found these couple of use cases that we covered today helpful. So let me come back to the slides. Sorry, just give me 1 second. So just give me 1 second, guys. My laptop battery, I have to just connect it to the chargers. Okay, I'm back. Let me bring the slides back again. So we saw the first use case on preparing for the fintech company. Then we saw the use case on preparing for an IT company called Persistent Systems, at how we use the annual report to uncover a lot of insights, which otherwise would have taken us hours together, right? And then we also saw how variance analysis, we prepared a quick variance analysis, which had price, volume, and mixed variance analysis. And it also prepared a quick CFO level presentation as well, all in a matter of few seconds, right? So this is how the world is changing with AI and how it's going to impact your FP&A function. Now imagine, if you learn all the high-paying AI skills that are future ready for your FP&A roles, right? Imagine grabbing those opportunities in AI-driven FP&A function. So what we have done is we have done extensive surveys with multiple CFOs, right? And here are the 5 critical skill sets that CFOs today are looking for in their finance function. First is the core FP&A concepts. Your budgeting, forecasting, management reporting, all of these things are non-negotiable. Margin analysis, commercial understandings, all of these are non-negotiable. These are the core FP&A concepts. Then financial modeling specific to FP&A, not towards valuation or all of those things, right? So, or leverage buyouts and all of those things. This is financial modeling specific to FP&A is what CFOs today are looking for. Then data storytelling. You can analyze 10,000 lines of Excel sheet, but if you're not able to capture that into a meaningful, simple language insight, then the business teams will not be able to use it. That's where your data storytelling skill set comes into play. Business partnering, it's collaborating with multiple business teams or cross-functional teams within the company to help them take prudent financial decisions. That is what is business partnering. This is where your ability to build strong cross-functional relationships. This is where your business acumen comes into play. And then last but not the least, leveraging all the AI and technological developments that are happening in the finance field so that you can be far more efficient and effective in your finance function as well. Now, what we have done at FPI is that we have built a futuristic program. It's called Certified Global FP&A Program, the CGFPA program. Okay, it's an FP&A certification built and delivered directly by CFOs and FP&A leaders. It has 10 comprehensive modules, which we'll talk about it in a while. Then it has everything through experiential sessions, real life looking like case studies, real life looking like simulations. We cover more than 25 case studies throughout the CGFPA program. We'll also be part of a global alumni network. CGFPA program has been taken by students from more than 25 countries so far. So you'll all be part of a global alumni network. Personalized sessions with a career coach to tailor any career queries that you might have. Placement support, your resume review, interview prep, mock interview prep. All of these sessions are conducted for you to help you get placed in an FP&A role as well. We also now have our own portal. It's called fpnajobs.com, where we are trying to bring the recruiters and FP&A talent on one single platform. Monthly Q&A sessions where you can ask any queries or questions directly to the faculty. External guest sessions, right? So globally, top FP&A experts, CFOs, digital transformation leaders come to FPI every month for guest sessions, and you get access to all of these things. All of this happens to the comfort of your home. All of these are delivered live online on Zoom. Okay, and you will have access to the LMS portal, which will have access to all the recordings and the materials and everything resources that we share as well. So again, that's what the CGFP program is for you. There are 10 comprehensive modules. So let me quickly talk about the modules that you see on the left. So we start with the introduction. What are the basics of FP&A, where we cover how an FP&A team looks like, what could be the different FP&A roles. We take you through an implementation case study as well. That gives you a good understanding of where does FP&A fit into the organization. And then budgeting and forecasting. We go deep into budgeting and forecasting with various techniques, different budgeting methods like incremental budget, zero-based budget, different components of budget like revenue, costs, margins, and different forecasting techniques as well, driver-based forecasting, integrated business planning. So all of these things are different techniques that we cover in budgeting and forecasting through various industry examples. AI in finance and FP&A is our latest module where we're covering all the specific tools that are used in FP&A. Again, general purpose tools like ChatGPT, Manus, Claude, all of these things, specifically from an FP&A use case angle. The one that I showed you, we probably cover, 50x more complex examples than these, what I just showed you. Yeah. So that's the AI for FP&A, finance and FP&A module for you. Apart from that, we're also trying to cover some specific agentic AI tools as well, which will be beneficial in the FP&A function, just to give you a glimpse of how agentic AI works as well. Then management reporting. Management reporting has different kind of reports, your monthly report, your quarterly report, different performance management frameworks like balance scorecards, KPIs, OKRs, right? And then recharges and allocations, different level of analysis. So all of these things come under management reporting packs and commentaries and all of that. Then comes financial modeling. Financial modeling specific to FP&A. Here we're talking about revenue models, right? Business model canvas, cost models, scenario planning, sensitivity analysis, trend analysis, right? What are some of the financial modeling best practices? How do you do scenario switches? All of these things are financial modeling specific to FP&A is what we are covering in the financial modeling module. Then comes data analytics. In the data analytics module, again, one thing that is for sure in your FP&A role is that you will be dealing with large sets of data, right? And you need to know how do you deal with these large sets of data. So that's why we are covering Power BI, Power Query, Tableau, SQL, and now we are introducing Python as well from the next batch. So that is what is the data analytics module for you. We don't claim to make you an expert in these tools, but at least we take you to a level where you are comfortable to use these tools in your day-to-day function. Then comes financial analysis. Again, financial analysis is not just ratio analysis. Financial analysis internally from a CFO and FP&A standpoint is very different. This involves different kind of commercial analysis, feasibility studies, right? Horizontal and vertical analysis, profitability analysis, margin mix analysis, then recharges and allocation. So all of these things is covered under financial analysis module. Then comes storytelling and presentations. Again, storytelling best practices, presentation best practices. How do you present to a senior management? How do you present to middle junior management? So all of these different kind of best practices are covered. How do you build a strong narrative, right? So all of these things are covered in the storytelling and presentations module. Then strategy. Again, strategy is an interestingly positioned module. As when you start becoming senior in your company, right? Your senior management will start talking a certain strategic language. At that point in time, you cannot take the strategic terms in a loose way. That's where we're covering all the popular strategic tools and also show you how FP&A can contribute to these strategic financial decisions. So that is what is strategy module for you. And then finally comes business partnering. So business partnering is all about your business acumen, ability to build strong cross-functional relationships through real examples of how Asif and I have collaborated in our career with various business teams, with HR, with legal teams, with business development, with plant finance, all of these different teams to show you some real life examples of how business partnering happens and how you can truly add value in the business. Apart from that, we are also covering more than 50 different examples, 10 plus tools, frameworks, all the tools that you see on the screen like Power BI, Power Query, Python, Tableau, SQL. On the AI space, we are covering Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Manus AI, which I just showed you as well, Copilot. All of these things are covered so that you are completely ready for a futuristic FP&A role. Don't just think about it as a course or a certification. This is 20 years of our blood, sweat, and tears packed into a compact 6-month program, right? This is designed to fast track your career, at least by a couple of years. Yeah, that's the CGFPA program for you. Now, what is the eligibility for this program? A minimum of bachelor's degree or a global equivalent in finance, accounting, or business is what is expected from you. Alternatively, you may have your professional qualifications like CA, CPA, ACC, or any of your equivalent accounting qualifications of your respective country. We don't claim to be a substitute for these primary qualifications. These are all accounting qualifications. They don't specifically cover FP&A. So that's why CGFPA is more like a supplement to these qualifications. We are also accredited by CPD UK. Now, how do you get the CGFPA award? 3 things. One is every Saturday we meet live. Saturday and Sunday we meet live for 2 hours for the classes. Saturday is the core modules track where we saw the FP&A modules. And Sunday is the tools track. Python, Tableau, Power BI. So Saturday and Sunday will be 2 hours each, the classes. You need to attend at least 50% of the classes live. 50% attendance is compulsory. And somewhere in month number 5, you will be submitting a capstone project, which is basically an end-to-end presentation for a CFO. All the guidance around the capstone project will be given to you. And once you submit that, you'll be eligible for the final examination. The final examination happens once a quarter. It's a 50 questions, 100 marks, 2 hours proctored online examination. It's multiple choice questions examination, basically to test your conceptual and scenario understanding, right? And once you clear that examination with minimum 50% passing marks, you get the CGFP award from FP&A Professionals Institute. So the ROI for a course like this, I leave it to your imagination. The course fee investment in this program is USD 1795. You can also pay that over 5 months. The course duration will be for 6 months. Okay. If you miss the live lectures, the recordings will be shared with you. You will have lifetime access to the recordings. Okay. 3 to 4 hours of commitment is all we need every week. This is again designed for busy professionals, right? All of you are busy, so we know, we understand. We don't want to spend time on too much basics. So sometimes we'll give you some pre-readings, sometimes we'll give you some cases. You may have to go through that. Again, everything is designed to make sure that you don't spend more than 3 to 4 hours in a week to complete the CGFPA program. 14th March was the orientation date. The classes are actually starting on 4th of April, 2026. That is, first week of next month, right? 4th of April, 2026, which is a Saturday. That's when the actual classes are starting. The date that you need to remember is 23rd March, 2026. This is when the final round of applications for the current cohort are closing, and they'll not open until the next quarter. Yeah. So 23rd March, my recommendation to you would be that at least fill in the application. The application process is completely free of cost. Once you fill in the applications, our recommending counselors will reach out to you. They'll check your eligibility. They'll share with you any early bird offers or the ongoing offers at that point in time, right? You may also ask for demo lectures. You can also ask for any previous alumni phone numbers, right? If you want to verify something, do your own due diligence. Again, there have been tons and tons of testimonials. Many of them have been able to land FP&A roles. Many of them have been able to implement a lot of things that we have shared in the class in their own work as well. Right? So you can talk to any of our alumni and they'll tell you how valuable it has been for them. FP&Ajobs.com is our portal, which is, please create a detailed profile on FP&Ajobs.com. Hopefully your next opportunity will come from FP&Ajobs.com. And just a reminder, the last round of applications for the current cohort, which is cohort 8, are closing on 23rd of March, 2026. Asif and I are usually very fast to respond on LinkedIn, so we are always available on LinkedIn. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. And wishing you the best for your careers, and hopefully we'll see you in one of our programs. Keep learning, keep growing. Bye-bye.